Hello and welcome to my video. My name's Kira Jonas, and in this video I'll be going over 6 bloggers, edtech bloggers that I kind of did some research on and explored their pages and stuff like that. So first was Holly Clark. Here's her page. So for the post, I used this first one that she has pinned right here actually. And basically it's talking about 1st and 5th graders who use School AI in San Diego. So this is the School AI app that I linked here. And it can basically, what I thought it would be fun for, it's a student AI chatbot kind of thing, specifically for students in school. And I thought it'd be fun to give it kind of like a prompt, like give me 3 things to write a story about and have the students write a story about over the given items. And I thought that'd be kind of just a fun way to get them creative, but also learn to follow a prompt. And I thought this would be for 1st grade. Um, and yeah, then was Richard Byrne. So for his, I used this video right here, how to use Google Earth. And on Google Earth, there is actually a setting, let me go to it, a button called I'm Feeling Lucky. So when you click on that button, it takes you to a random place in the world. And I think that is very fun. I think it'd be a very cool thing for students to kind of use this and learn about different places in the world that they may have never heard of, or they can use it to find a random place and then they have to research and do a project over that place, and it just helps them learn about this they may have never ever heard about before. So I thought that was a really cool feature that I never heard of before. Um, and I thought that would be for 3rd grade. And then next is Eric Kurtz. I used this post right here, Dive into Snorkel. So I would use this tool with students in a subject such as like math for quick feedback. So they can they're getting quick and effective feedback so they can learn from their mistakes right away. So it's basically just an AI bot again that they can hook up to their computers and they can ask questions right away and get instant help. Because sometimes they need help and the AI can help them in different ways than maybe a teacher could perhaps. Next is Matt Miller. This is his page. And the post I used for him is right here. This is We Will Write. So basically it's a website. This tool could be used in my classroom to help students practice their writing skills, and it has writing games. It's a good creative outlet for the students. They can work together on different things, and it just helps the students, fall in love with writing and practice their writing skills. And I would use this for 1st grade when they're starting to learn to write and stuff like that. Next, Tony Vincent. So here's his page. And I thought this was a really cool tool that I found. So here's his post. And basically, the website is called Magic School AI. And you can take any YouTube video and put it into this tool, and it will give you questions that you can put on a Google form to kind of quiz the students over what was in the video, information in the video. So I would use this to either A, make sure that students were paying attention, or B, make sure they retained the information that they were hearing. It kind of just helps make sure that students are paying attention and understanding when you're showing them videos, so they're not just kind of taking it as free time for themselves. And I think that's a really cool tool. It helps teachers save time so they don't have to make up the questions themselves. And then Jennifer Gonzalez, here's her page. and I used this 6 EdTech tools to try in 2025. Here's a list. Some of them I've already used, but the one I chose was Deck Toys. Um, and it's basically just learning games for students, and it's basically so I would use it because it kind of is different for each student depending on what they need. If they're mastering the skills right away, then it helps move them on to the harder questions. However, if they're struggling, it'll kind of detour them so they can continue until they master whatever they're learning, which I think is really cool that it's different for each student and it kind of allows them to learn at their own speed and like how they need to be taught to understand it. So I think that's really cool. And I would just kind of use this in my classroom to help make sure students are mastering what they're learning. And it can be used for any grade, probably lower elementary though, specifically. And then for Holly Clark, I used Wayground, was another tool I found from her, which is also the old quizzes. It's just they changed the name and kind of did a new updated version of it, which I used this in high school, so I know it's very useful. But with the new updates, I was interested to see what has changed. And so basically, it's a site where you can make quizzes for students, and they can do it in their own time, or they can. It's kind of like it can kind of be used as like a Kahoot where they work again, like it's like a quiz in class, and they try to get first, which can be really fun for them. And I thought this fit under Empowered Learner because they're using technology um, to demonstrate what they know. And I thought this fit under this standard right here, Computer and Science and Technology. And then next was Richard Byrne, which I chose Backdrop, which is again very similar to Google Maps, but it's more fun, it's different, it has different themes and stuff like that. So basically it's just a geography game working on like recognizing places, and I thought it'd be really fun for them to have to like try and identify a place based on where it lands, and like they have to use street signs around them or buildings and try and recognize where they're at. So I thought that fit under right here. I have it highlighted. I go right here, this standard right here. Use a map to identify location. And I think that's, oops, not what I wanted to do. Okay. And then Brisk is a website that helps teach children about AI and helps teach students and teachers about AI, basically. So I thought that'd be a good tool to kind of help students understand what they're working with, because AI can be a scary thing sometimes. And I put Digital Citizen for this because um, they need to understand the responsibilities when it comes to using AI. And then I thought it fit under this standard, analyze ethical practices and behaviors of digital citizenship. Next was Matt Miller, and I chose Swivel, which is basically, it's a very similar thing, but it's for teachers to understand the use of AI, which as a future teacher is something I would definitely use, because AI can be a scary thing when it comes to being in school and not knowing how it works and trying to make sure your students know how it works. And because I want to be able to teach them how to be the best that they can with AI. And so once again, digital citizenship, making sure that they're being responsible on their devices, and the same standard. Oh, not that one. The same standard, analyze ethical practices and behaviors of digital citizenship. Next is Tony Vincent with LunaPic. I thought this was a very fun one. So basically, you can upload a picture and it will swirl it. It's an editing site kind of where you can edit different things, but there's a swirl option where you can swirl a picture and then it's hard to identify. And I thought it'd be really fun to have students kind of work together to try and try and figure out and come up with different ideas of what the picture could be and just kind of collaborate with one another. And so for this one, I chose Global Collaborator because they'd be working with one another to try and problem solve and figure out what it is. And it could just be, it's just like a fun way for them to work together and have a little brain break sort of thing. And I chose this standard, the Demonstrate and Describe the Best Practice of Computer Literacy. It's important for them to know how it works. Next is Jennifer Gonzalez, Notebook LM. This is just basically an AI tool that can help students make sure they're getting the best information for their research. So they can ask it questions, make sure they're getting the best information, and make sure that what they're learning is valid information. So it kind of just helps them with their research and making sure that they're getting the best information to make the best project they can. And I did Knowledge Constructor because they're using their resources, their online resources, to make sure that they are creating the best project they can. And I did this standard again, the Demonstrate and Describe Best Practices of Computer Literacy. And then was the blog I found, EdTech Classroom. So here it is. I found her on Instagram when I was looking through the other ones that we were supposed to research. I came across hers as it was a recommended one. And one thing she recommended is something called Mote. So this is a site that helps students with reading and writing, and it can also help teachers with lesson planning. And I would use this website just to ensure that what we're learning is suitable for all learners. So it kind of takes things and it puts them into audio for students who learn from listening, or reading so for students who learn from reading, or videos for students who learn from watching. And it's just kind of things like that where um, it helps all students learn in their own way for whatever benefits them. And so I thought that was a very cool thing, and it can be very helpful saving teachers time. I was reading through at the bottom all of these kind of things that teachers have commented on, saying how it helps. Because another aspect is you can give students feedback through videos, and I think as a student I would have really liked that, to hear what my teacher wanted me to fix, so they could go in detail and kind of explain what they want me to fix. And so yeah, it's EdTech Classroom, and her name is Maddie. And I thought her stuff was very interesting. So yeah, I will definitely be using all of these in my future classroom. And thank you for watching my video and listening to me talk about all 6 of the bloggers that I learned from, and hopefully you can find some of these tools useful. And yeah. Okay, let's